Darrell Young, welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
Great, Justin. Thanks for having me.
I think, well, we've had your brother on, we've had Wendell, and now we got you. So we got two of the brothers on. How many siblings are there?
There's 6 kids in our family, 5 boys, 1 girl. Yeah.
Oh, that one girl.
Well, actually, she ruled the roost, so
did
don't
she?
feel bad for her.
Okay, I guess. Was she the oldest or the youngest?
No,
or
she
middle?
was 4th.
She was the 4th?
Yeah, she was behind me before Wendell. Yeah.
Toughest out of all you, I bet.
Oh, yeah, no question. Like, my mother wasn't home, she was in charge.
Makes sense.
And she still thinks the same thing now.
Yeah, that's usually the way it goes.
Yeah.
Growing up, you're probably the most recognizable face, in my opinion, in Nova Scotia, in and around Atlantic Canada. I remember growing up playing, and whenever you walked into a rink, you perked up a bit. You go, okay, well, that's Darrell Young there. He has a little bit of say when it comes to the hockey world, and he's watching me play hockey. That's to finally sit down with you and get to know you personally. I know we just talked for a couple minutes back there, and you were telling me how busy you are.
Yeah.
Once again, I appreciate you coming on because I know you're busy. So
no, it's great. I'm looking forward to it.
I guess going back to the very beginning, did you know that you always wanted to be, I guess, in the office side of hockey?
No, I just knew I loved hockey.
Yeah.
I mean, for any time you're involved in the game, you either like hockey. I got a lot of guys who like hockey and play hockey because they like it. Anybody who loved hockey, they love hockey and they know you want to be involved if you can. I was very fortunate. I got some breaks along the way by some outstanding people. When I was, played for Darrell and ended up, helping the assistant coach. Then the assistant coach, the head coach left and went back to Europe. And I was fortunate enough that the athletic director at the time, Wayne McDonald, who just passed away in the last couple of weeks, was the athletic director. And he actually was my high school football and lacrosse coach.
No way.
So when Kent Renke left Darrell, he walked in and said, the job's yours if you want it. I said, great.
Wow.
Right. So I was very young, I was 26 years old. So I was very young back then. But at the same time, you create your own path, I think, in life. When I went to university taking sport administration, I took crappy jobs in the summertime that paid low wages to get the experience, where other people in our same faculty were taking jobs in the city, cutting grass, making more money. But at the end of the day, I was the one getting the majority of the jobs when I graduated, and because I had the experience. And you create sometimes your opportunity, and sometimes you gotta get lucky. And I remember the first time I went for a job interview for sport administration recreation was down a little town down the South Shore. I drove past the town twice before I realized I just passed the town. And then when it was a Friday afternoon, I went in there at lunchtime on Friday, interviewed for the job, and the time I got home, I was still living with my parents, and the phone rang and said, the job's yours. And so I said, can I call you back Monday? And I said, thought to myself, I want to be in hockey. If I go down there, I'll never be involved in hockey. So then I started my own hockey school. Because I ran them at Dalhousie when I was playing there, and I finished playing there when I got hurt. I still ran the hockey schools for Pierre Page and Peter Esdale, and so I started my own hockey schools. We traveling around different cities in the province. I ran the skating program for Halifax Minor Skills Development way back then, and just travel around. You meet people. I started coaching, midget hockey, and I was at 21 coaching the Halifax McDonald's. 22, I was coaching junior.
So young.
23, I was coaching senior hockey. So, you got to create opportunities for yourself as well. And like I said, sometimes you got to get lucky. I've been very lucky.
Who was your connection with the Washington Capitals? Because I saw when you were coaching Dow, you were also a scout for Washington.
Yeah, I was lucky because I was a guy named Jack Ferguson. Jack Ferguson was the head scout for the OHL, and anybody who was the first pick overall in the OHL gets a Jack Ferguson award. And the Jack Ferguson was the first pick overall. Jack is almost 90, still living, and he has a summer home up by Northport, up that area.
Okay.
Here, so he comes every summer. He's actually here now, and I'm going to go see him next week down to see him. But Jack saw me when I was working for Hockey Nova Scotia as an intern doing the evaluations for the Canadian Under-17 team. And he came over and asked me what I was doing. I told him, and he goes, "You Wendell's brother?" I said, "Yeah." So he hired me for the OHL. And then through the OHL, I got to meet guys like Sam McMaster and people like that. Sam went on to be the director of player development and when they had scouts there, and they were going to expand their staff into the Maritimes, and we had a good relationship. And he called me, so I was interested.
Wow.
Yeah.
Scouting role. First scouting role was with the NHL.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was back about 87 around that time.
Did it come naturally to you, or did you just walk into a rink and have no idea what you were really doing?
Well,
Like, did you know what to look for, I guess is what I'm asking.
I mean, as a young guy, you're always learning. I'm always learning now. You know, as a scout, as a hockey guy, I'm constantly learning. But you learn it by just sitting and listening, and sometimes you learn by sitting, listening, watching, then asking questions.
Yeah.
Right. And then I was very fortunate to be around guys like Dave Paul, Brian Murray, Barry Trotz. You know, all those guys were great guys to learn from.
Oh, yeah, because Barry played for Washington too.
Barry was a scout when I was in Washington.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. Yeah. Then he became the assistant coach in Baltimore with Terry Murray. We ended up coaching L.A. and Philadelphia.
Wow.
Right. So Barry was the assistant coach there.
Wow.
So we had a great connection of people that came to our organization. And then you just, like I say, you just learn. You know, one of the things I'm very fortunate, and that helped me as a coach when I was coaching at Dell, is that I was able to go to the NHL training camps, work with NHL people, and learn. But my second year at Dell, I was a volunteer assistant coach with the Nova Scotia Oilers, and then Larry Kish and Ron Lowe. Ron went on to coach the Edmonton and New York Rangers. So I knew I had to learn. So I spent every morning I would go down with practice, help move pucks, and then after practice, work with skill with the guys, different guys like, you know, Jack Boone was there, and Kelly Buckberger, you know, a lot of big names that end up being big players. So I wanted to learn, so I knew the best chance to learn is by going to the pros and learning from them.
Wow. I've always wondered in your industry how you earn your peers' respect. There's so many people in the world of hockey, but you and I both know hockey is such a small community. In order to gain respect, you have to be not a special person, but you have to do the right things constantly. What was your quickest way to gain respect from people that you looked up to?
Well, I think people have to know that that you're very respectful people, and B, that you have a good work ethic. You know, if you're not willing to put the hours and the time in, that's not important. You know, you've got to be there. I had a discussion with a young guy in the past week who's new in an industry, and I said, "Why am I on the bus at 7:30 going to the rink with all the young guys, and you don't show up till 10 o'clock? You know, like why is that happening? You're the young guy trying to break into the business. Why am I the guy helping clean the tables at the end of lunchtime or dinner meals? I'm cleaning the tables. I'm not going to do it, but I'm doing it because it has to be done. Understand if no job's too big or no job's too small, and you just got to work hard and be open to learning."
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
I like that. I've always wondered from your industry as well. Like we do streaming, and a lot of people go, you know, this is great for scouts that they get to sit at home and they watch this. But I've always thought on the other side, there's some things that you can't pick up from streaming. You can't pick up a kid's body language when he goes to the bench. There's certain things. So I was wondering from your perspective, what do you think about the streaming industry, and how is it helping scouts, or do scouts still want to be in the rink?
Scouts want to be in the rink. You know, you want to feel the cold. You want to smell the rink. You want to feel the puck against the boards. You know, I watch video every day, but I won't give you a true answer until I see the person live. Because you say you want to see the person's body language, how they back check. You don't see that sometimes. For a defenseman, you don't see why he read the puck the way he read the puck. When he made a pass, you're like, what's he thinking? Well, where's the pressure coming from? You know, you don't see that in video a lot of the time. So you got to be in person, right? And you just to feel it. You know, I watch guys who, you know, how they responded to their teammates on the bench. You don't get to see that. And that's such a big part of the game today, just knowing how you treat each other and how you support your teammates or you don't support your teammates, how you talk to them, how you're engaged. You don't get that feel from video. Those are big parts of the game.
That's nice. I like that. Is there part of you that likes talking to the players, or do you go directly to the trainers first, or the coaches first? Like, how do you approach a player?
You know, in terms of recruiting a player?
Yeah.
You know, I try to watch the player quite a bit, and then ask people around the game about him.
Yeah.
Not so much as hockey, because I'll trust my own opinion, but more so him as a person, what the family's like, what's he like, does he train hard, if you tell me you're skating with Jill Plandowski, I'll text Jill or call Jill because her sons are clients, and ask her what her thoughts of the player is, and how receptive is to learning. Because if you're not receptive to learning, and if they don't show her respect when she's out there, then we don't want you. It's as simple as that. Because you've got to want to learn, you got to want to work hard.
Yeah.
Right. But in terms of later on, you talk to the coaches about the players, but the person who probably knows at the National Hockey League level, when you scout major junior, the best probably person to ask about a player's character is the equipment manager. Because those are the guys the lowest on the rung. And the way they treat that guy is going to tell you a lot about that person, the things they do. They know which guys are good guys or bad guys in the dressing room. And they're not afraid to share it with you either.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But think about that. They're at the lowest, of the hockey organization in reality, but they're one of the most important as well.
Yeah, you can learn a lot from a guy about how he cleans his stall. Does he put the towel in the basket? Does he hang his jersey up? Does he say, "Yeah, thank you"? Little things like that for sure.
And the way he treats someone, in pressure situations, and what the sticks aren't right, or the tape's not right, or the skates aren't sharp, and just how we talk to people. It's real important.
What do you think the most important level of development is? Is it major junior, or is it Bantam? Is it what level do you think is okay? This guy needs to make a step right now.
Well, you know what? It's between 18 and 23.
Yeah.
That's where the major stuff has to be made. I always tell everybody that it's not who's the best 13-year-old, who's the best 14-year-old. It's who's the best guy between 18 and 23. So if you're not the top guy, maybe you don't win the scoring race in U15. Maybe you don't end up the top 5. But you might have a better opportunity than the guy who finishes at top because you're a better skater. You just haven't physically matured maybe. There's all kinds of reasons why. But just keep going and showing perseverance. Perseverance is the greatest attribute, one of the greatest attributes a person can have going through hockey. Because hockey's brutal. Very brutal. You've been there. You know how hard it is. It's not an easy road, even when you can make it. But perseverance is huge. And if you could say, keep getting better, you'll make your way. It may not be the pro, it might be the college, might be the junior A, might be the major junior A, but you'll find some level of success. Right? I
like that. Well said. When we were talking there a little bit earlier, we were talking about your schedule the past month and the travels. I know some guys who are busy, and what you just rattled off to me, that you're busy.
Yeah.
What are some travel tips when you're moving?
Well, I've learned to pack lighter. Right? Understand that we're black. We're a lot of black.
We're black. Why? What's black? Just professional?
Well, it looks professional, but also it hides the dirt. Right? If you spill something on a black jacket,
you're wearing white right now.
I know. But it goes around my brown pants. You got to match.
Fair enough.
You got to coordinate too, right?
There's a look for a scout, like the pea coat, the clipboard, the note, the pen. Like there's a look for what you guys do.
Yeah, but funny thing is, when I first started in the business, we had to wear a suit and tie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sport coat, dress pants, or a suit and tie. And we go to major junior games, college games, and that was our dress. It's only been the last probably 10 years that it's relaxed, but I can't get that relaxed. I can't wear jeans to a game, right? I can't wear sneakers to a game. You see guys doing that, it just blows my mind. I work for a professional organization, so shouldn't I look professional? That's my own personal belief, but I believe it's important that if you want to present a certain image, you better dress it.
For sure.
Right? We want to be successful, be around successful people.
100%.
So I think you got to look that way.
Yeah, you've always had that aura about you. Like when you walk in, it's like, all right, like I said, all right, that even when you're playing, I just remember sometimes, that's Darrell's right here. You just kind of have that power. And at what point in your career did you realize you kind of, like I'm starting to notice it a little. I walk through and I got eyeballs looking at me. But when did you start to notice that that persona of yourself walking through the rink?
Well, you know what? I don't even think of that in that manner. I think that you treat people with success on the way up, you're going to meet them on the way down.
Okay.
Because my career's been up and it's been down. I've been hired and I've been fired. Right? And I meet the same people no matter where I go. So treat them well. And that's one thing our dad told us. The other side of it is that I think that, you don't think, I love the maritime mentality because I tell everybody this, is that our mentality is take what you do seriously, but don't take yourself seriously. Like I like to have fun, I like to smile, I like to enjoy life.
Yeah,
right?
I've noticed that.
Yeah.
Just fun to get to know you a little bit.
No, I mean, I walk through, my kids hate it because I go to a mall, I got to talk to everybody.
Yeah, but
that's just, people want to talk to you. That's fine.
yeah,
I'm not Sidney Crosby. I'm not Nathan McKinnon, but I might be the person in hockey they want to talk to because they recognize you.
Well, how do you deal with the politics of it all? Maybe like parents and my kid's this, my kid's that, and how do you stay a nice guy and put people down easily? Or there's all that in hockey, but people approaching you.
Yeah, basically, there's some situations where you really got to control them. But for the most part, most of the people we work with are really good people, and they're really good. Not just players but families. But there's some situations that you really got to manage. We're managing a couple situations now, and you just got to be patient, and try to keep explaining to them why it's happening to them, and what you can do to change it, and what they can do to change the situation. There's always two sides of a story, right? The coach doesn't like me. Well, you know what? I had guys I didn't like at the housing, but I played them because they helped us win, right? So. It could be another reason why I'm not playing you. You're probably not good enough.
Fair enough.
Bottom line, everybody wants to win, right?
Yeah.
So I put up a lot of crap when I was coaching the Dallas so we could win.
Yeah.
But there's politics and everything, and the problem I think with a lot of people today is that they don't give their kids enough responsibility. They don't hold them accountable enough. You're the guy not working hard. Maybe coach is mad at you, he's not working hard, then work harder, right? Don't come crying to me. It's not my fault you're not working hard. You got to own it, right? You're the guy taking the bad penalty, not the coach.
Yeah.
Right? And there's some situation where it just comes down to bad coaching, and I've seen that happen too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Not identifying who the good players are, what the person does well, right? Sometimes the coach really identify what people are doing well and play to their strengths.
Fair enough.
Right? Some guys are a goal scorer. So set your power play up to feed him. He'll score.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Yeah. Right? It's a simple game. It's just hard to sometimes translate.
Yeah.
It's a very simple game, but
yeah.
you have to translate in a way to get people to motivate and work hard.
Oh, exactly. And the game is changing too. The way the game is played, everybody says it's tougher to score goals today. I don't believe that. My day and time, you're clutching and grab, you're a lot of holding, very physical. But today's game is tougher because if you're a forward, think about it. When you watch a game on TV, it's 5-on-3 down low. 5 guys defending against 3 forwards, and the two defensemen are usually open from the top of the circle out.
Yep.
Right. So if you're a forward, it's tougher to score, right?
Yep.
Because you're in so much traffic.
Yeah.
Right? Not like the old days. You don't see any 3-on-2s or 3-on-1s. Bing, 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 gone. Right? The game has changed so much.
What do you think about the game though, progressing in terms of skill and less away from roughness? Do you think it's in good hands?
I love the way the game's being. I love the skill of the game.
Okay.
I love the speed of the game. I don't like that they're trying to take the physicality out of the game. Right? There's a certain. You watch the playoffs. What's the best hockey in the season? Is playoffs. It's intense. It's physical, right? It's tough to maintain that for, 100 games.
Closer. Yeah.
100 games a year, but it's intense and it's physical. Like the first round of the playoffs was really good.
It's always is because they have the most energy.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the physical part of it and adds a blend to it as well. But don't take the physical part of the game. Yeah. I tell young kids today, if you want to have a chance to play physical, because there's so many. Every guy thinks they're a goal scorer. I tell kids when they go to training camp, for major, junior, just work hard, be physical. If you score, it's going to be a byproduct of your physicality.
Yeah.
But if you're a scorer, score.
Yeah.
But add a little physicality to your game too, so people notice that part of the grit.
For sure.
Yeah.
What's the most rewarding part of your job?
Seeing people be successful. That's the most fun. See players improving. It hasn't changed since I started coaching 50 years ago. It's the same. It hasn't changed. Seeing people go to the next level, right? I mean, coaching is coaching, and probably, one of my probably the best thing about coaching is that you see kids develop. I remember a couple of years ago when my youngest son was playing Pee Wee, made Pee Wee double B, and I helped coached those teams for those 2 years. The second year, we won the provincials in quadruple overtime. But fast forward, Halifax West and Citadel were in the provincial semifinals. 20 of those kids played on those two PWB double B teams. So we got AAA, AA, A, B, and two double B teams in Halifax. And 20 of those kids were playing in that game. That's rewarding, right? When you see those kids get to a level that people didn't think they would get to, probably.
That's great.
Right? Outside their parents, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
What about the cup? You know, getting a group of people together and they're all on the same page to win a Stanley Cup in Tampa Bay. I see the ring right there. That must be a rewarding feeling, a lifetime of achievement kind of earned in one day. How does that feel?
Well, I mean, you reflect back on all the people that helped you get there, right? And that's what you reflect on more than anything else. It's not just you, right? So there's and to tell you the truth, when we won that Pee Wee Double B championship, I was probably more happy then.
Stop.
Yeah.
Darrell,
Seriously. Because what was about me was with the kids, right? The kids achieving some level of success. That's all you want to see. I wear this because it helps recruit, right? People, it's an icebreaker. People see it and want to ask you questions about it. Right? And a lot of people never seen a Stanley Cup ring or try one on. Yeah. People laugh because I'd be in the dressing room, I'd throw it to kids. And they would drop it and they'd be almost in tears. Like, don't worry about it. Diamonds will fall out, they'd be replaced. No big deal. Right? So, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Does Wendell wear his ever?
Yeah, he wears this once in a while.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit more now than he did. Right? You know, mine's twice the size of his rings were. Right?
Well, yeah, because what year did he win?
91, 92.
Yeah. If you go to the Hockey Hall of Fame and you look at the rings from like the 80s till now, they're just...
This was big. Now they've gotten so big. And this one here was like the first one of his type with the Stanley Cup in the middle. And now you see a lot of them has the Stanley Cup right in the middle of the ring like that.
Yeah.
Right? Most of them had like the Pittsburgh Penguin with a diamond in it in the middle. This changed kind of the rings, the way they were built.
Oh, that was like the first one where it was like a little more flashy.
Yeah, it looks like a stadium with the cup sitting on top of the stadium.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. That's
good stuff.
Yeah.
What was your relationship like growing up with Wendell? Was it competitive? Was it love?
No,
he was saying, like, I heard that he used to get all the nice gear, goalie gear.
Oh man, I tell you what, my dad was the first scout I met because I was in Batham. I was wearing forward skates in Batham AAA. We only had A. Batham A with a piece of bicycle tube around the old tube skates, so the pucks wouldn't go through the middle, right? He had goalie skates. He was playing Adam. I was playing Batham, right? So he also had goalie pants. I didn't have goalie pants, right? Like I had forward pants, like the pucks would ding off the inside of it, right? Oh yeah, my dad knew talent when he saw it. He realized I didn't have much. He's going to bank on that guy, right? But there was no competitive. It was probably more pride than anything else because he was always the best. I remember one time he was in junior high and the Gorsbrook
Junior High?
Charles Tupper. So Charles Tupper.
Okay.
We were going to St. Stephen's. We're North End guys.
Yeah.
We were going to St. Stephen's. So Charles Tupper wasn't very good. So the league let them, the junior high league let them pick up either Wendell or three other players from Gorsbrook that chose Wendell. Right?
No way.
Instead of losing 20 to 1, they lost 10-1. But they were like, you know, like we were always competitive in our family. We always did sports together, but there was nothing but pride. I mean, I remember sitting in phys ed class at Darrells, and Pierre Paggi was my coach at Dell, and he was also teaching at the university. And someone asked Pierre, like, you know, which guy around Halifax or Metro Nova Scotia is the next NHL player? And he says, the goalie, Wendell Young. Well, he's 5 years younger than me. And I'm sitting there like, okay.
Does he know you're in the room? Does he know your brother?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he knows that. Yeah. I said, yep, you're right.
Wow.
No, there was nothing but pride for me. He was always good. Like, no matter what he did, he was good. He played lacrosse. He was good. He played football. He was the first 15-year-old guy to ever play middle linebacker at St. Pat's High School.
Stan Henniger had tons of great things to say about your brother. In terms of, like, athleticism, just like a freak athlete.
Yeah. Well, him and Stan are just like that. You know, don't forget the North End in those days were producing a lot of good athletes. There was our families. It was our older brother Kevin was probably the best athlete of the family, but he had a short fuse, so it kind of hurt him in a lot of ways, and it did hurt him in a lot of ways. But he, like everybody said, he was our best athlete. So there was the Youngs, there was the Parkers, Mark and Sean Parker. There was the Tyneses and Don Mulgrave Park, all those guys like were around, the Hennickers, the Pattersons, not just the boys, but the girls in the Patterson family were good athletes too. There's numerous other families I could rhyme off that, but it was just a whole athletic business. In those days, they kicked you out of the house at 8 until you come back at 5. Like you played ball, hockey, you played baseball, you played football, and you kept yourself busy. No one had to plan our day for us. We did it ourselves.
Any stories from like the pit?
Oh, the pit. I can't tell you those stories.
Yeah. Any hill sprints? Like you train, you run up the hill? Hill sprints, anything? Go sled down it?
No, like we played at Fort Needham. We played at the pit. We played football at Fort Needham, minor football there. The boys all played softball in the North End. And there's all kinds of other stuff that we used to do. Like the prison was still there in the North End.
There was a prison in the North
Where
End?
the convoy place was.
I never knew that.
There was a prison. So a bunch of guys had pellet guns. We go up there and shoot the rats. We always take the motorbikes up. Then, we had the city dump in the North End of Halifax too. We're just right next to Africville.
Oh yeah,
right. Where the pier is now, that was a garbage dump.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so the boys go down there and shoot the rats as well. So, all those kind of things you did when you were young kids, and you could do it, and life was good. Back in North End, North End was a great place for a kid to grow up, because everybody knew everybody's kid, and everybody was going to look out for each other, and there was tons of kids around.
I bet.
When you look at Alexander McKay, St. Stephen, St. Joseph, St. Stephen Annex, they were all there. It's just a great spot to be. Some
of my good friends are from the North End, and they have stories from back in the day when their parents were there. And the way they described it was the community protected itself.
Yeah.
The streets policed themselves.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you don't steal from the poor.
Yeah.
That's not who's hosting Robin, right? He's joking about that all the time. That's what I say. But we were working class families, right? Good families, and we had some families there that were really successful, but still lived in North End, like financially, but they still lived there.
Yeah.
And a lot of hardworking people, honest people.
Yeah.
They're working a 9 to 5 and just took care of each other. Like this, it was a real community. And that's what I think's missing today from schools as well. You don't have that sense of community. Like you go to schools now, the kids are busing everywhere. They're closing schools left and right. You don't have that sense. I don't think you have that sense of community as much. It's a shame, I think.
Yeah, I didn't grow up in the area. Like I always bus, so I don't know that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
but I know what you mean. The sense of community, I like it. I never went to university or much, so like this, honestly, for me, has been great. Just walking and get food, just staying in the dorms. It's nice. I've been here for 2 days, and I think I met like 20 people, and it's great.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
Oh, no question.
So how did your relationship with Jai? Because he's from Fairview, right?
He's from around the Dublin-Berlin Street area, around Oxford School.
Okay.
Right? So we always played minor hockey together.
Oh yeah.
But in high school, I was one of the few guys in North End playing hockey for the high school team.
Okay.
So in those guys, I got to meet with those guys, started hanging out with those guys. And I played football with those guys, lacrosse and everything. So I started hanging out more with those guys just because I took my sport level to a different level. But I still maintain my friends in the North End.
Yeah.
It's the guys I still talk to today. But that whole group there was just a great group. We had a gang called the Who Gang, the King of Who Gang.
The Who Gang.
Yeah, we all played high school, all the sports. And
okay.
A bunch of us came back for our 4th year because we had no idea what we wanted out of life. So we all came back and played.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Most of us wanted to play college.
What was the most memorable moment of the Forum? The Forum's my favorite rink. It's that and Centennial. You walk in, you smell it, you feel like a kid again. What was the most memorable moment from the Forum of maybe trying to get in to watch an event, something like that?
Well, we all have stories. You're always trying to get in the back doors or whatever. The door will open, you try to run in. Same with Chai always said, the boys would climb the pipes and they greased the pipes. Then they nailed the windows closed so you can't get in that way either. So they found ways to keep you out. We were like rats trying to find a hole, right?
So you're shooting rats with pellet guns and you guys were rats trying to get in.
Well, my most memorable story of the Forum is that I was in Pee Wee hockey and I'm watching my older brother Kevin play, and I was squinting at the clock and I'm like, what's the score? How much time left? My mother's looking at me and said, what's wrong with you? I said, I can't see the scoreboard. Next day I got glasses.
That's how you knew?
Yeah, I was 12 years old, yeah.
You never took them off. You still got them on.
I used to wear contacts, but I was getting too lazy to put them in now.
Yeah, I heard that contact's no good. I'm hitting the golf ball, and if I hit it long and straight, I can't see it. So I'm thinking maybe my day's coming.
Yeah, well, I wear my coach now more than anything else, right? So
Yeah.
because I want the helmet, the glasses, but that's about it. But outside, I pretty much wear glasses now.
I had a really good question lined up about the debate of the year-round hockey or the in the summer play another sport. I wanted to hear your opinion on that.
Well, I think you got to be an athlete first. So if you want to be a hockey player or a baseball player, you got to be an athlete first. If you're an athlete, you're going to be good. I don't think you got to spend all your time in a rink. Go play other stuff. I see a lot of kids right now who, when it comes, September, they're tired of hockey. That's what they did all summer. We tell our guys right now, our older kids now, they're like, when you get the second year bad, I'm like, make sure that all you're doing right now is training on off ice 5 days a week, go on the ice 2 days a week, and that's it. Stay away from the tournaments. Just develop your body, play some skill stuff, get some skill stuff in. Don't be glad to be playing 5-on-5 games. Do some skill stuff, then do other stuff. You'll be fine. Right? You'll be a player because you got to be an athlete. Yeah. If you got eye-hand coordination, you have eye-hand coordination. If you don't, you don't. Yeah. Pretty tough to get it.
Yeah.
Right. So be an athlete, but enjoy life too. There's other sports like the other sports that are transferable to hockey. Lacrosse, you got to catch your pass. In lacrosse, if you want to score, you got to go to the net. If you have no courage, you're not going to go to the net because you'll get hit when you go to the net. Hockey, you want to score, you got to go to the net. Right? Same thing. All that stuff. You got to think in game. Give and go is all the same. Basketball is the same thing. You got to defend. A lot of the basics, your footwork, the way you turn your body, the way you defend, all the same. Boxing out, move the ball, run off the ball, right? All those things are the same. They're all
find open space.
Yeah, soccer's the same thing. I remember, 30 years ago when we were scouting, 20 years ago when we were scouting, asked every European what they did in the summertime. It was either soccer or tennis, right? Now they all want to play golf, right? But soccer and tennis, think about it, it's all a lot of the same skills. The great thing about tennis is that you can't blame your lack of success on anybody else. The wind may came and picked the ball up. The sun may get in your eye. Outside of that, who are you going to blame?
Yeah.
Right? It's all about you.
Yeah.
Right? But your feet work, is great because you got to read and react off the ball, right? All those things are great things for hockey. And if you can be a good tennis player, good chance if you've been playing hockey, you're going to get better.
I find it hard now because I golf now, and my whole life I was a hockey guy, team sport. And when I have a bad shot, it's you. You can't.
Yeah.
It's not I admire guy. It's just you. You have no one to blame. It's a tough golf's a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, any sport you're into, you got to master the art of positive self-talk.
What's that?
Talk. If you miss a shot, I'm better than that. I can make that shot. All those things. There's enough things that can go bad in a game if you always think about them. If you think about those things that go bad, it's going to make your game even worse. But you'd say, I'm a good player. I'm good when I do this in a game. I'm good when I do this in a game. Right? Those things are always shit. I just messed up that pass. Well, no. I'm good when I make those passes. Master the art of self-talk. Because when I was a goalie, people would say to me, my father, well, Darrell was a better goalie than Wendell. How come Wendell made it? And my dad would stop him. Probably was scoring not to get ability again. He would stop and say, hold it. Darrell was a better goalie for the neck down. Wendell was a better goalie for the neck up. Right? You scored on Darrell, he went to fight you. I couldn't park it. Right? And I beat myself up. But Wendell would say, what time's lunch? Right? Forget about it. Just go out and play.
Short memory.
Yeah. I couldn't do that. Right? So as you get older, you realize, why you failed. Right? As a player or as an athlete.
What do you think the number one common trait is? Like, you've been around some of the best athletes in the world, I'm assuming. What's the number one common trait you see when all of these top athletes are in a conversation with you?
The competitiveness.
Yeah.
How competitive they are, how much they're willing to work, how much they're willing to sacrifice. It's they're willing to do what has to be done to be successful. Right? There's 3 levels of commitment. There's the intellectual where you think you want it, there's a verbal where you say you want it, and there's a true where you actually do what you say and you think. A lot of players fail on the third part. Like, I want to lose 50 pounds. I tell you I want to lose 50 pounds. I think I want to lose 50 pounds, but I'm not truly committed to losing 50 pounds. So I'm telling that to my wife for the last 3 years. Right? So that's where a lot of guys fail, right? It's like the true commitment. Right? But those guys who are successful are truly committed to being good, or as good as they can be.
It's fun being around those people.
Yeah. I mean, like I'm 65 years old this summer, and I think mentally I'm 17 because I'm around young people. And you see people laugh, and you see people working to get better, and they keep you young, and they keep you thinking young. So I'm going to be in this business for another 10 to 15 years.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Why retire? What am I going to do?
I don't know.
Go to old age home? Be around with old people?
I was going to say go watch a hockey game, but that's what you do anyways.
No, exactly. Well, part of it is it's a social interaction. Like come here with you.
Yeah,
right? Come here with you and being around people at the rink and see people I knew. I see grandfathers and like I see grandfathers and I see kids I taught at hockey school and their kids are here. I coached at the House University or somewhere and their kids are here. Right? And you see them being those kids. You see you're around people and they're laughing because you're bringing back good memories most of the time. Right? Yeah. And enjoying life with people. Like be around people that want to live life. You go to a senior's home, they're all going to go to a certain point. Like young people keep you going.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm noticing that a little bit as well. Or just finding a challenge around people that have certain, I guess, challenges similar to you. Like if you're surrounded by other scouts, you're surrounded by hockey people. Yeah. You're in one community. That's what I find with myself. I'm just in a community that wants to get better, and it makes you better.
The community is huge. Like it's just not the National Hockey League.
Yeah.
It's when you come into places like this, you see people that and those kids have the same dreams that you had 50 years ago, or I had 50 years ago, or you had 20 years ago. The same thing. They had the same dreams. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. No, it's well said. I hope that I'm in the same position as you when I'm 65 and say I still got 10 more years in me. It's a lot of conversations, but we'll make it work.
Oh yeah, I got my middle son right now starting to work with us. So
yeah, I saw that. He was with you there.
Yeah, he started this past winter work with me. He's going to get more involved in the business. So because our business is expanding, we're getting more guys playing pro, and you want to service your clients as best you can and make sure you're always there.
Yeah.
Right, not showing up once every 3-4 months. I just see somebody every couple of weeks. Have a conversation with somebody every couple of weeks from our company. Yeah. So
where do you think that balance is of not having too many clients? It's almost like what's that movie, Jerry Maguire?
Yeah.
It's like, where do you think that balance is of not being the guy that has 100 clients compared to 50?
Well, I think that you got guys that move on to pro hockey or major junior hockey that, you don't talk to them as much. Yeah. You go to the games, a lot of phone calls back and forth. But I think we're at the stage now where, if we get 2 or 3 in age group, that's all we want. Right? But unfortunately, this 2010 group is so good.
Is that the group coming up tonight?
No, the first group this morning.
Okay, yes.
The 2010 group, that is incredible. There's some couple good 208s I really like. There's some couple of 209s, but that 210 group, there's probably like 10 guys there. I think right now today have a legitimate chance of being pro. Right?
I'm not going to say names. We'll talk after, but
we won't say names, but I mean, I'm just looking at their skill level, their compete level, the way they think the game, right? They just how they they got to grow. There's other parts of it. They got to keep loving the game. They got to keep working at the game. But it'd be interesting to keep track of them, see how they do. But there's a couple, like I said, there's more than a couple there. There's a couple guys in 208s that are really outstanding that you'll see today, right? But then 209, there's some good players there as well, So.
It's great seeing best on best. And in hockey, unfortunately, best on best isn't really a thing. Like the Olympics haven't been around. That World Cup thing hasn't been around in a bit. And this is kind of the best on best we've had in a long time, at least for us to see. And you notice the difference. There's no shift that's off. It's fun to watch.
Yeah. There's a guy today at 2009 that I know the kid was a coach. I traded for his father when I was GM in Moncton.
Oh, yeah.
And he was drafted by the Chicago Blackhawks. So looking at this kid last year, like, hey, he's not bad. Then you see him today, and you see how much work he must have put in over the summer. You see a big difference in his game. The confidence level's higher, skating better, he's making more plays. And like this guy, keeps going. And as I said before, it's not about being the best 14-year-old or 15-year-olds, being the best guy between 18 and 23. And that's our job, is try to project who's going to be the best guy between 18 and 23.
Did you see Crosby play when he was like 16?
Well, I saw him play before that. I remember is the Crosby's, the Forbeses, or Robbie Forbes. I should have meant Robbie Forbes. Harry Forbes were really good hockey players. That's their nephew, right? And then Darren Sutherland, Robbie Sutherland, Brian Sutherland, they're all related because their mothers are Forbes. Crosby's mothers are Forbes. So the Forbes were good friends with our family growing up. Yeah. So I remember one of the was like, oh, you got to see this Sidney. He's 10, 11. Like, he's 10, 11. Like, I'm not having to go rush out to see him. And then I was, I think it was 2000. I was a guest speaker at the Atlantics. That's when the ages were all changed for a couple of years there. And he was a peewee playing in the Batham. And I looked at him, like he was like 12 or 13. I'm like, holy cow. He's the best player on the ice by a country mile. Right? And he was just dominant.
Wow.
Right? Just dominant. And I'm like, I've seen a lot of guys in peewee and Batham that don't end up being anything. This guy was. Right?
Well, I wanted to bring up the age of 16 to 18 because did you go to any World Junior games and see Bedard?
Yeah.
If you could maybe potentially talk about his next 5 years in the NHL and you could predict maybe what's going to happen, do you think he could be one of the best of all time, or do you think it's still too early?
Well, I mean, I think it's too early, but I think it could be.
Yeah.
Well, he's shown he can be dominant at his not even say his age level, because the World Juniors is predominantly a 19-year-old tournament. He was
wearing a bubble.
Yeah. And he was 2 years younger or 3 years younger than most guys. So he's a young player that really dominated on that stage. He's got that power in his skating, like Nathan McKinnon. He's got the shot, like very few guys have. And he's built, he's not going to be a 6'2" guy, but he's that. You don't get to be 6'2" if you're 190 pounds. If you're 5'10", that's a strong man. Right? That's a big body guy. He's a thick body, so it's tough to move him off the puck. I think that Chicago did the right thing by bringing some older veterans in, the Corey Perrys and that, Taylor Halls, surround them with some better players than they had last year, or a better team, I should say, than they had last year. So they're doing making the right steps, making him feel as comfortable as possible, surround them with guys who are older and has some leadership skills.
Well said. I like that.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to a Chicago Blackhawks game live? I heard back when they were on their cup runs, it was just the place to be.
Unfortunately, I haven't.
No?
Right? No. I've been to a lot of NHL rinks, but that's not one place I've been to.
No way.
Even when I go to Chicago, I go visit my brother.
Yeah, the Wolves, yeah. You got me there. We'll be offended if he goes to a Blackhawks game.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Especially if he's playing that night.
I remember I started the podcast with him, and I was like, oh, look, how does it feel to be like an affiliate with the Chicago Blackhawks? He goes, no, what are you talking about? We're not an affiliate with the Blackhawks.
Everybody assumes that.
Yeah,
right?
I just assumed. Yeah. I don't know if I restarted the podcast or if we just went with it, but I felt awful to start with it.
Rockford's an hour and a half down the road. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, man, that's great. What are one of the rinks though that you've been to, and it's like, whoa, electric factory in the NHL? Well,
I think that the Tampa Bay, the years I was there in the 2004 when we won the Cup, I mean the whole outside when the weather's so nice there, then you go outside. Just when you walk around outside, the bands are playing and there's games for kids. There's all stuff going on. The bars are open air, so they're attached to the rink. It's a live place, right? You go in the rink. At the time, we had the National Hockey League. We were like top 5 in the league in terms of attendance, right? So the Americans can put on a big show, but our ticket prices were in the bottom 5.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Well,
so that hurt the team financially, just because the market was building up. Now they're a good franchise in terms of good tickets, right? I haven't been to Vegas yet, and I want to get to Vegas because that's supposed to be the place to be.
Oh yeah.
Right? I love Madison Square Gardens.
Who doesn't?
Oh man, it's just, my goal is to go see Billy Joel before he plays his last concert there.
Doesn't he play there like once a week?
Yeah, but I think November this year maybe is the last one he's going to play.
No way. Imagine being at that show.
Yeah, so that's a great concert to go see.
Billy Joel, I bet it would be.
Madison Square Gardens is a great place.
Yeah, when I was talking to Morgan Barron and when he just got back from playing Vegas, they lost in the first round. He said it was just almost impossible to play there. Just so loud. And I thought it was all tourists. And he's like, no, it's not tourists. They're suburbs in Vegas. They're fans.
Oh yeah. Vancouver was great during our years. We were always in the battle for the Cup. Right? They were always great loud building.
Sorry, say that again.
Vancouver.
Okay, yeah.
We were there, I was there from 2008 to 2014, but we were pretty successful during those times and those years. We had the 2011 Stanley Cup run there, and Year before, we lost Chicago for twice in a row, and so those were great electrifying times.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was. I remember I couldn't stay up and watch the games, but I remember watching Sportsnet TSN the next morning. You're like, hey, Vancouver won. Those years back when they were.
Yeah, the fans were great back then. Even when they were singing the national anthem and the crowd singing along, right? It's just it was loud and it was noisy.
Yeah.
I knew there was a game on before the game even was being played.
Yeah. Right? Do you think All or Jeff will be alive when if there's an NHL team in Halifax?
Well, I don't think that's going to happen for a very long time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, Jeff, how old are you? So like he could be 80 years old. That's 60 years from now.
But you know what? Whoever thought Halifax be approaching 500,000 people, right? In the way that everybody's moving into the city and the city's expanding. I wouldn't say never, but we'll be probably dead and gone. I don't see it happen in the next 30 years, but if we keep expanding like we're expanding, it might be possible. But you got to have an economic base of industry too, and we don't really have that economic base of industry, manufacturing or anything else that can support, I think, a National Hockey League team. It takes a lot of money to support an NHL team. You need lots of sponsorship.
Oh yeah. It's not just based all on ticket sale.
No.
See, this is why I need you on here. I don't know this.
I was remembering we were talking about this in Tampa Bay when I was there, and they were saying that the space in the clock was selling for $50,000 in Tampa, and it was selling for $250,000 in Toronto. Perfect example. Even though we're in the bottom 5 of season ticket sales, bottom 5 of ticket prices, I think Columbus was ahead of next team ahead of us, but they were like a $5 to $10 per ticket more. So that's a big difference. Take $10 a ticket, 20,000 people a game, times 40 games. It's a lot of money.
That's million. That's a mill. That's more than a mill.
Yeah, that's why you see all the stairwells and every piece of signage possible. Even the ticket booth is a McDonald's ticket booth. Anything they can sell, they're going to sell because they want that revenue.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy learning about the business side of the game?
Yeah. I mean, it was always an interest of mine. The business side I always had that kind of entrepreneurial spirit, right? Between when I got fired from Darrell and I was working for Nashville, I started a newspaper called Sport Extra.
What?
Yeah, back in 1998.
It
was a free weekly paper based on advertisement. So I was copying a model I saw down in the southern states that worked well.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Well,
what did you put articles of what? Just players in there?
No, we did all kinds of sport. We hired a great a team of writers, and it was usually anywhere from 32 to 44 pages long. It was an ESPN type of magazine type, right? And then it was well received with the public. The articles were outstanding. We had outstanding writers. We just didn't have enough money to hire the right salespeople to sell advertising. And that's a big, that's how we're based off advertising. So, lost a few dollars in that one. I had 3 years left on the mortgage. It went to 30. That's life. You
got to gamble.
I'd rather get up to the batter's box than not take a swing at all.
Yeah.
Right. And we had a good concept, and you got to believe in it. And you lose. You just move on to the next thing you want to do. Right?
Fair enough.
Yeah. But the funny thing was that the first day the paper came out, we were offered $250,000 for it.
You didn't take it?
No.
Oh. Looking back on it now, would you have done it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. $250,000.
I wouldn't need 30 seconds to answer that question.
You live and learn, I guess.
Oh yeah, we all live and learn. But you know what? It was fun to do, and I think we did a lot of good things, and you just learn from the things you go through life with. And I'm still standing, so that's all that matters.
100%.
Yeah.
I love. Yeah. It's money's nice, but you gotta love what you do every single day. I'm just starting to learn that.
No, I mean, people don't take jobs sometimes because the money's not good enough, right? But they end up being miserable because they're doing something they don't like. So why not take less and do something I don't like? And I find that when you work in sport, you're not going to make a whole lot of money in sport unless you're a player. Unless you become a GM of an NHL team. I mean, most scouts are making anywhere from $60,000 to $125,000. That's not a whole lot of money. Right? There's other perks involved that you get that, compensate, but the fact is, don't expect to get rich. You want to be involved in sport. But you live doing something you love to do every day.
The truest words ever spoken right there.
You know,
Agreed.
yeah, it's part of enjoying life.
Yeah, I'm having a great time right now.
Yeah,
You know? All right.
I would enjoy life more too if I go to Spain for a month, you know. But
Yeah. Too hot there right now. You don't want to be in Spain right now.
I want to go there in April, right? So,
are you going to be here in Halifax when Ottawa takes on Pittsburgh? Or are you going to be somewhere else?
Yeah, I may be here. Yeah,
Yeah.
My wife and I talked about it. Right, let's see Crosby, because I remember I've seen a lot of exhibition games here, but the last local guy that probably played here there was Wendell when Tampa Bay came here against the New York Rangers. I think it was New York Rangers were here, and that was the first time there was a league game played in Maritimes.
Oh, it was a league game.
A league game, yeah. They used to have all these neutral zones. They try to expand the game.
Oh yeah.
So every team would play maybe 1 or 2 games in a neutral zone, smaller area market, trying to build the game. Just like now when they go to Europe, the Global Series and all that.
Yeah.
So they were trying to find ways to grow the game. So Wendell played like 5 games before he got here. Then Terry Chris didn't play him the game here.
He didn't?
No, he didn't play him. He sat him out.
No.
The people weren't happy. People were booing.
Could you imagine if Sid or Drake didn't, like, there would be riots.
Oh.
If they did, there would be riots.
Yeah.
People would get up and leave.
Oh yeah,
Just drive them out living in Halifax.
Yeah, people weren't happy when that happened. So at least they Sid and Drake are going to be able to play there. And well, you got to look. Matthew Highmore's now with Ottawa as well.
Yep.
Right. So another local boy there. So
that's true.
They're good to see. Then see him play as well.
100%.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, one piece of advice to the kid that's looking to probably play pro hockey in the next year or so, but isn't too comfortable on making decisions, I guess, with contracts and things like that. What's your advice to that kid making that next step to essentially make a career rather than just play a game?
Yeah, I mean, probably the biggest thing is like believe in yourself and believe in your own value, right? Value yourself as a player, right? And value what you believe you should earn, and aim for that. And the reality is that the Crosbys are going to get the max and lots of bonuses. A guy who's 3rd or 4th round pick, don't go for the max in terms of NHL salary. Go to the lower end of the NHL salary, like say 750, 775, 800, but take the max in the American League. So between max and the American League, between the salary of the American League and signing bonus, you're making about $175,000 a year US. Because you're not going to be playing in the NHL for 2 or 3 years anyways, for the most part. So take the lower part of the salary at the NHL level, but take the max of the American League so you can live well, train well. But the NHL, the other side of it too, is that if you take the lower NHL salary, you got a greater chance of being called up early and getting more games experience.
Well, a little trick to the trade there.
Because the salary cap, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to fill a lot of those spots, not with the best player, but who fits a lot with the salary cap. If you make 800 but if another guy makes $1.5 million or $1.2 million on his salary, then they're taking you because you don't cost them as much. And they can save money on the salary cap for later on for the trade period. So when you're a young guy, you're not going to play much in the first year. Probably not going to play in the first year. You might get some games the second year. The third year is the year you will want. But you got to be able to fit in that salary cap spot.
That's a great tip.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Darrell, you're the man. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Justin. And tell Sebastian I said hi.
How do you know Sebastian?
I helped coach Sebastian with your father.
What?
Yeah. I was on the ice a couple of times with him. Yeah. He used to play my 4-on-4 league, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let both of them know.
I remember your dad, he did a job I would never do.
Like the living he did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a crazy job.
Yeah.
Right?
Unbelievable. Some of the days he'd come home and the stories he'd have.
Oh, I know. I'm like, what?
Dinner time was fun every now and then.
Yeah. But you know what? The hockey prepared him for that.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, for sure.
Right? You know the challenges. So, good.
Yeah.
Tell them I said hi.
I will. Yeah. They're both living out in Bridgewater. We have like a family cottage.
Oh, nice.
Right on the lake out there, and they're
beautiful.
living out there. My mom just sold their spa, so she's not in Bedford anymore, so she's out there. So
awesome.
The whole family's out there, but I'll let them know you said hello.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. All right, awesome. All right, everyone listening, thank you very much for tuning in. Once again, if you guys aren't listening, this podcast goes nowhere. So thank you very much for listening. I appreciate it. And we are out. Enjoy your summer. Peace.
Great.